Hey, it's Tpok. I am back in Katawa Shoujo, and we left off at a pretty awkward part. How's Misha? Misha seems happier now, back to her old self. I thought this would be a good way to celebrate, and to thank you for helping her. Her hand stumbles a bit on the last word. You think too much like a businesswoman. I can't help it. It's how I've been taught to do things. It makes me happy that you're asking about Misha. It would be more accurate to say back to her real self. She would only be back to her old self to you. The Misha you know is completely different from the one I think of. When I think of the first time we met, even though I think she looks better, cheerful, and smiling, that isn't how she typically is. I wonder if it's true for you too. I don't answer. Well, if Misha's happy, then it doesn't matter. If it worked out in the end, your plan worked. You knew her just as well as you said. You knew everything she would say. If your idea was just to say that I'd speak for you, though, doesn't that just make me your puppet? I didn't do anything then. Not true, it was your idea first. I was wrong. I have a way of seeing things that is very flawed. Now that I've thought about it, I'm sure you know. Sometimes I treat everything like a competition between myself and everyone else, even when it doesn't make sense to. Sometimes. I know very well how easy it is to ignore someone if they can only communicate with you through sign. I should have asked for help, but I was so sure I could do it on my own. It was actually a very brave thing you did, even if you won't take credit for it. Aside from that, you've really become kind of admirable lately. It's strange having her compliment me while her facial expression hasn't changed in the slightest. But people don't change so easily, according to you, am I right? She winks, clearly enjoying herself very much. Does Misha tell you everything? Almost everything. I guess you're going to tell me I'm wrong about that, aren't you? Yes and no. I'm the one who told Misha that before anyone else, before she took it too far and changed the meaning. It's not easy, but she acts like that makes it impossible. It's possible if you go little by little. I'm considering trying to be less competitive. I thought you enjoyed that, though. Maybe just a little. That's why I specifically used less. She leans against the fence. I have things I want to say to her, but it doesn't seem like the right time for it, somehow. It's a feeling I have. I can tell she isn't just done yet. A lot of people think I try too hard. Well, I've always thought that I'd try just enough. The sound the fence makes as she pushes against it, and the delicate clink of her sleeve buttons scraping against the links are oddly soothing. So is the breeze gently picking up behind me. I can hear people below us. Shizune's eyes dart below us as well, and I wonder if she thinks about what she might be missing out on. The attention-grabbing way she tends to snap her fingers proves she has an understanding of how other people perceive sound. It must be odd being able to understand that much, but unable to experience it yourself. She starts walking slowly around the perimeter of the roof, still scraping her buttons against the fence. It isn't rhythmic at all, though not for a lack of trying. I sort of zone out in thought while she does, and am rudely snapped out of it when she circles around completely and taps me on the shoulder. Do you remember what we were talking about? When? Now? Of course, it just happened. It's been almost 10 minutes. When I first saw you, you seemed like you were very attached to the idea of feeling sorry for yourself. That stings, even if it is true. Sorry. It made me want to cheer you up at first sight. I was scared it would be for nothing, though. I couldn't help thinking it would be hard to change your mind. But you did. I thought that was very surprising. And also that you might be kind of easily influenced. Still, I was surprised. It made me reconsider a lot of things, like that maybe everything was worth it in the end. Everything? That's why I like you. I see. It's nice to finally know. Wow, that's your response to that? It's nice to finally know. Okay. And remember, you have to take this job seriously. Too many people think you can just slack off, and that isn't important. That is a dangerous way of thinking. Definitely. You can't take it too seriously. If you aren't always thinking big, thinking positive, and if you show any sign of weakness, people will start to think you're incompetent, you know. And soon you won't be able to do anything because your power is going to be delegated to others piece by piece, and you'll be left with nothing. That's what happened last time. So, remember, it may seem like an easy job, but a lot of carnage can happen in this room. And out of it. Dealing with the school staff too. Even trying to get a budget report from a class rep can be a fight to the death sometimes. Yeah, it's kill or be killed. There are no friends in the pits and you take no prisoners. Are you sure about this? Is this right? You don't seem excited enough. I have to make sure it's getting through properly. Once more with feeling. I'm sorry. You too? Shizune twists her hands like a maestro for emphasis, visibly intimidating the two girls standing at attention in front of us. To think this all started because one of them asked if she wasn't taking her job too seriously. Do you understand? Do you understand? Pretend I'm shouting it. Okay, alright. The student council is so weird. Yes, sir. Sir? Who are you guys talking to anyway? It's not weird. You have to think of it as a job. If you want, think of it like they are paying you with the right to use this great office. You want another lecture? No? You can go now. Just like that, the hour-long student council orientation is over. Personally, I thought it was about 50 minutes too long, and also found it funny that it incorporated a tour of a school that we have all been going to for a while, but I guess it didn't hurt. I expect Shizune to fall back into her chair since she has been on edge all day, but she doesn't. She continues pacing the room restlessly. They still have a long way to go. Right now they're a joke. Eh? What? They think they can be the new student council? They're so unfocused. You can really see the lack of experience. This was our best year yet. I don't think they have what it takes to be our follow-up act. And I know there are more of them than those two girls, but where are they? They're like heavily marketed but mediocre big-budget critically planned sequel to the acclaimed low-budget sleeper hit. Eventually she does stop and sit down. Are you going to miss it? Obviously. I'd be happier if I didn't have to leave too. I like being in a student council, even if it can be tiring too. Yeah, it's definitely tiring. Only because Shi-chan is always trying to do more than she has to. You're forgetting that if I did the bare minimum, we wouldn't do anything all year except hand out flyers, collect surveys, and plan the next student council election so the next student council could sit around for another year of doing nothing. Asking me to let that happen? Don't be ridiculous. In a student council like that, there wouldn't even be any power to play around with. I'm just happy that even though I clearly need to ride them harder, those two aren't bad. Not there yet, but the new student council should be in good hands. How can you tell? After the festival, they asked me if we could also organize a Halloween event, like a haunted house or something along those lines. They had a bunch of other ideas as well. Of course my response was no. I had Misha tell them to do it themselves if they wanted it so badly. They were angry for some reason. Of course they'd be angry if you said that. And Misha delivering the message wouldn't help. I was angry too. All of a sudden they want so much. If they wanted a haunted house or a traditional style cafe or a trip to the beach or whatever other cliche thing, why didn't they try to organize it before? It was like they were taking advantage of me. I worked hard to organize those festivals, and in return they came to me with, "That was nice, but can you do this now? How about doing this? It's what I really want." Shi-chan was wrong though. Right, they wanted to join the student council so they could make it happen. I made them feel jealous and riled them up. That could be a kind of motivation too. The desire to do something great spreads, even if it's to show me up. They decided to take me up on the challenge nonetheless. I'm impressed. Well, for now. I would have to see how it plays out a little longer in order to know for sure. She snaps her fingers suddenly, which sends Misha almost bolting out of her seat. Interesting. I guess it is impossible to get used to. Probably because that snap was kind of unnecessary. She was talking. That's right. We are going to have a party to celebrate the passing the reins to the new student council, aren't we? Why not have that now? Or at least plan it now and have it tomorrow. But they're not even in charge yet. In fact, that's the first thing you told them. You're not in charge yet. It seemed premature. Misha, what do you think? I agree it's too early. Plus, I don't think I could go anyway. Sorry, in fact, I was going to leave right now. Why not? No comment. Come on, tell me. Well, okay. Way to not crack under pressure, Misha. I thought about it, and even if I didn't want to go, I would say yes, usually. It's the kind of person I am. I really should stop doing that, and this is a good place to start, I think. If it's a celebration to say goodbye, I don't want it. It would be too sad. I want to do something else instead. After all, Hichan, you and Shichan will be here tomorrow. It doesn't seem right. Besides, I have other school things I have to do today. I can't drop them just like that. We can postpone it. No early goodbyes. She looks very firm as she says this. Aren't you going to go now, though? Oh, that's right. Wahaha. Okay, besides now, no too early goodbyes, okay? I get it. Okay, later. With that, it's just Shizune and I left alone in the student council room. Why did it get so dark? And blurry. Does she look blurry? She looks kind of blurry. Sunset slowly changes to night as we sit in silence, both searching for something to say. Would it really be that bad? Yeah, I didn't think about it like that, but Misha's right. Parties set a mood, and it would be a sad one. A sad party doesn't sound like a whole lot of fun. Why would it be sad? Is it a trick question? I'm sure of it. Shizune's eyes pierce into mine, waiting for my answer with a detached, analytical stare that I haven't seen in a while, but it feels familiar anyway. I consider my answer carefully, but also what it means for her to ask me. It could be that Shizune finds it depressing as well. Or it could be that she doesn't understand why anyone would find it depressing. Both are equally plausible. I'd have thought that when you graduate, that's it. It's going to be the end of the student council. I was wondering if you had the same idea. Don't be stupid. I look forward to it. I won't be a student anymore, so the expectations are going to be completely different. People's expectations of me and my expectations about everything else. It seems exciting. As for the student council, it should be in good enough hands. I don't have anything to be sad about. I don't think you're being honest. You looked upset about having to give up the student council. Not even a few weeks ago. It wasn't about leaving it to a bunch of newbies either. It was having to stop doing the student council work at all. Unexpectedly, Shizune smiles. So you're not disagreeing? Then it doesn't make sense. Why would you want to have a party about it? I'm trying to get over it. Besides, goodbye celebrations are very important. People say the first step is the most crucial, but following it through and finishing cleanly are just as important, right? I guess that is true. Anyway, I don't consider it a goodbye, but it is still an event. You still have to go through the proper motions. Aren't you going to? Aren't I going to what? Kiss me, of course. Is that the proper motions? It would be normal, wouldn't it? It's the natural thing to do. It's time to act decisively. If I don't, I'm sure my heart will explode. I kiss her immediately, so quickly that I don't even have time to enjoy it. Even though she was prepared for it, Shizune blushes a deep red. I feel a similar heat rising in my neck and cheeks. Oh, no. I move in for another kiss, but as I do so, she moves backwards at the same time and impishly jumps onto the cabinet behind her. Alone in the total silence of the room, we just look at each other for a while. This time, I kiss her more deeply. Her lips are light and dry, and open a tiny bit. I'm only able to appreciate the sensation for a moment before Shizune starts kissing me back forcefully. Her bangs brush against my closed eyelids as I let myself sink deeper into the kiss. I can feel the shape of her body through her clothes, which only makes me hold Shizune tighter. It takes some effort for both of us to draw back from each other. We're both blushing, both from the kiss and the thoughts of what's to come, and I'm far from the only one breathing a little heavier. As Shizune begins to take off my tie, I start undoing her blouse. It takes a while to figure it out. I'd never really thought about how our school's blouses work before. Shizune's blouse is a little tight on her, and her arms get stuck for a moment because of it. I found myself peeling it off of her, although with the way she's trying to wriggle out of it at the same time, it isn't easy. The sight is a little comical. A little comical? Oh, okay. Hello. Once Shizune's arms are free, she slides out of her shirt, her skirt falling around her knees with it after she unhitches it and works it off her legs. The only thing covering her now are her bra and panties. Her figure is curvaceous and taut, and the healthy color of her skin contrasts with the black of her underwear. It's a wonderful sight, especially against the background of the moonlight through the window. She looks at my chest and works the buttons of my shirt one by one. The process is greatly slowed by my hands moving up and down her thighs. It's a little amusing to play with her like this. Finally, my shirt falls to the ground. Shizune surprises me by quickly pulling me in for a deep kiss without warning, but I quickly return the gesture. Why are you bolder today than on the roof? Or in your room? I try to think of a good answer, but it isn't easy. How would I be able to respond to that even if I could? There's no way to unless I were to say that bureaucracy really puts me in the mood. My shirt having been disposed of, Shizune moves on to my belt, and I decide to help her undo it instead of answering her question. I don't think it would do much good to... Okay. I guess that's it. It's not hard to get off and falls to the ground with a metallic clunk. I move in for another kiss and begin to slide my hand up her side, but she quickly lurches forwards, making me stumble backward. The stiff edge of the table behind me was the furthest thing from my mind until I feel it stabbing into my lower back. I hadn't even noticed it was there. It makes me grab Shizune a little tighter as we fall back onto the surface of the table. Okay. I'm gonna have to censor this. But I'm also gonna end it right here. Oh jeez. Okay guys, thanks for watching, and this'll start up next time. So I guess look forward to that. Yeah.